how to use different strategies to develop your leadership superpowers, you absolutely want to learn about the skill of strategic silence. Why is strategic silence so incredibly important in leadership? You will want to watch this video until the end to learn how strategic silence can help you develop your leadership superpowers. If this sounds like a topic that you are wanting to learn more about in terms of how you can truly communicate at a higher level than your peers so that you can stand out from everybody else as a leader, then this is the place for you to be at today. If you clicked on this video, you're meant to be here, friend. You are one of those exceptional leaders that we need in the world today that is here to really elevate how they're communicating as leaders. Now, you may be at the beginning of your leadership journey, maybe you're in the middle of your leadership journey, or perhaps you're at the end, like I was as a C-suite executive or a senior VP or etc. What I'm sharing with you is a skill that many leaders struggle with because this topic of strategic silence is something many people struggle with. So in this video, we're going to talk about why silence is a struggle. And then we're going to talk about why strategic silence is something that will set you apart as a leader. And then I'm going to give you a couple strategies as to when you need to use strategic silence to make a bigger impact on what you are saying as a leader. My mission here is to really help you. And I truly believe that people become great by how they communicate. And my mission here on this earth is to help to unlock the greatness within you. And how am I going to do that? By helping you to learn these very advanced level communication skills that will set you apart from everybody else. Learn from my over 20 years of experience as a director, a C-suite executive, and a public speaker to help elevate you so that you are the leader that inspires and influences other people in your businesses, at home, in your organizations, and etc. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that I am an executive coach, and the target audience that I work with in my executive coaching practice consists of women in leadership. However, if you are a woman that is not in a leadership role just yet, or perhaps you are a man in leadership, even though you're not in my direct audience that I provide executive coaching services to, you will learn a lot of information here on this channel, and I hope you subscribe. I'm so happy that you took a few moments out of your day to spend with me to learn about how you can elevate yourself as a leader. If you're watching this portion of the video, you are watching the replay. This is a live video. Feel free to give me just a few moments so I can communicate with those individuals who are joining live so I can say hello, and then we're going to go into how strategic silence can equal a leadership superpower. Are you ready? Let me know what you think about strategic silence in the description below or in the comments below. Welcome those of you who are joining. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today. And if you have ever struggled with silence in a conversation as a leader, let me know in the comments below. I'm here to support you and help you so that this is not a challenge for you moving forward. Now let's talk about this. Why is silence so important? Before I go into it, I do want to say that I had a live video this morning, a live stream that talked about secret leadership skills, and it was silence. So you definitely want to take a look at that video. I'm not going to cover the exact same information in this video, but there's a lot of great information there as it relates to silence. There's a few videos here on my YouTube live streaming page that talk about those advanced level communication skills. So take some time, check out my videos. You will be able to gain something out of them. I'm sure you will. But let's go into why silence is such a big deal. Silence is a struggle for most people. I talk about this on my channel, and if you've heard me say this before, bear with me. There are many aspects of communication that people really struggle with. Let me know in the comments below, what are some things that you might be struggling with in terms of how you are communicating as a leader? But we're going to focus on just 3 at the moment. I have seen over the past 20 years that there are 3 areas where people struggle with as it relates to communication immediately. The first is eye contact. The second is silence in a conversation. And the third is how to control their facial expressions. Now, if majority of the people in the world struggle with these communication strategies or skills, then you automatically will stand out as a leader if you can learn to master 1, 2, or 3 of them. You will automatically stand out from everybody else. The reason why is because most people struggle with this. So this is why you're here and why you hopefully are subscribed to my channel, so you can learn more about this specific topic. Now, I want to say that silence is something that can actually help you to be set apart from other individuals, as I mentioned a few moments ago. People struggle with silence because it's awkward. We had a audience member earlier today that mentioned how silence is very awkward, and people sometimes are not comfortable with that dead zone in a conversation where you're speaking to someone but nothing is being said. You kind of wonder, should I say something? Should I not say something? This feels really awkward. I want to leave this conversation. That's what most people do. But if you are watching this video and subscribe to my channel, this is not going to be a problem for you. This is not going to be a problem for you at all. And if you are a woman in leadership and you're ready to really enhance how you're communicating, then contact me for a strategy session in the description below. Now, we know that silence in a conversation is hard. It is hard, it's awkward, it feels very weird. Before I go into that, this is what I'm going to say. So we have L.E. McSquirty23. So first of all, there's a comment that says, be quiet. Well, first of all, L.E. McSquirty23, I'm not a man, okay? So let me clarify that. And second, if this hot topic is actually very, very important. Therefore, if you are not wanting to learn how to elevate how you are communicating as a leader, then friend, this isn't the channel for you. Go to another channel where you control there, but not here. I don't have that. Now, let's go into silence, as I mentioned, in terms of your leadership skills. Now, we talked about why silence is important. Most people struggle with silence. They struggle with silence. They don't know what to do with it. So as a leader, if you can start mastering it, this will become your superpower. This is what will make you stand out from everybody else. Okay, so you may be wondering, okay, I understand about this, why it's important. I know I've struggled with it. I used to struggle with silence in a conversation too, but I don't struggle with it anymore because I've practiced and I've trained for over 20 years to master this type of setting that comes up in a conversation. So you might be wondering, well, when can I actually say or be silent in a conversation? So this is where you want to take some notes and write down what I mentioned to you. There's really 2 times that you can be silent or have a silent time in your conversation. It is either before you are making a very big, impactful statement, or after you have made a very big or impactful statement as a leader. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of both scenarios so you know exactly when you will need to use strategic silence as your leadership superpower. Are you ready? All right. In terms of when, let's say, for example, when you want to say or be silent before you make a response. This is an example. Now, there's a lot of examples I can share with you. If you want me to go into this in more detail, then let me know in the comments below, and I'll do a video just for you all to go more into detail on this. But let's say, for instance, you are in a meeting, and there are several people that are looking to see what your insight is on a topic, or maybe they're looking for you to give a report. If you pause slightly, just for a few seconds before you give a response, it does create a sense of anticipation of what you're going to say. This itself is a superpower because many people do not know how to use silence strategically before they respond to a scenario. Yesterday or last night, if you watched, and I appreciate the heart emojis, friends, and I appreciate you being here today. Before I go into that, welcome those of you who are here. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today. And if you have ever struggled with silence in a conversation, because we're talking about how this can help you develop your leadership superpower in terms of strategic silence. So thank you for the heart emojis, the smiley faces, and the congratulations hats, and the 100s also, friends. I appreciate that. All right, so we're talking about when to have your strategic silence. It's either before you say something impactful or after you say something impactful. If you do it beforehand, you're basically creating anticipation in terms of, well, what's the leader going to say? And that's a good opportunity for you to do it. Now, I will tell you that if you pause too long before you say something in terms of your strategic silence, it will make it look like you don't know what you're talking about. So you might be wondering, how can I do this? Like, how should I balance this out? If you are going to use strategic silence before you make your impactful statement, then stay silent for about 2 seconds, 2 or 3. Enough to where there's a pause where people know there's silence that's there. Now, before I go into that, I saw something come on the chat. David Yadi Negron, hello, welcome friend. Hope you're doing well today. Hello back. Let me know what part of Big Beautiful World you are joining from today, and if you have ever struggled with silence in a conversation, because I'm going to share with you how you can make this your leadership superpower. Appreciate you being here today, friend. Now, we talked about before, okay? We have before. If you're making a big impact and people are looking to you for a response, that's when you want to use your strategic silence. It's a great way to showcase your executive presence also. Now, how about when you're in a scenario when you have to say something and you're making a really big impact, but you want your audience to really feel it, to feel what you're saying? That is the scenario when you will pause or use your strategic silence as your superpower after your statement before you say something else. So let me give you an example. There's many scenarios for this, but I would say salary negotiations, because that's something I talk about on my channel. If you're interested in learning more about salary negotiations, I have a pre-recorded video and I have several videos here on my live stream. But let me give you salary negotiation as an example, because salary negotiations are a fantastic time for you to use silence strategically. Let me share with you an example. Let's say, for instance, that you are my hiring manager and you ask me a question about the famous one everybody asks you. And by the way, if you're ever asked this question in salary negotiation, just know they're trying to box you in to a salary. But let's say you're my hiring manager and I'm going to respond. You ask me, what type of salary am I looking for? Many of us are asked that. Most of the time, you're going to be asked that in an interview. Now, my response would be immediate to this person, and I would say, what salary range does your company offer with somebody with my level of expertise? And stay silent. Now, I just made a very impactful statement, and this statement itself has a lot of depth to it and a lot of weight to it, because the person, you as a hiring manager, are going to have to think in your mind, well, what is the salary range I'm going to ask for this person? And that hiring manager may not be used to someone staying silent in a salary negotiation. Most people struggle with salary negotiations, and I know this topic is not specifically about salary negotiation, but I use strategic silence in my one-on-one settings with my clients, and then also with my women that are in the Real Executive Woman, my transformative leadership experience. But we use silence strategically for these type of situations. Your hiring manager could very well be in that category of people, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, that are not comfortable with silence. Therefore, if you can say something, just as I mentioned, and stay silent for a few seconds afterwards, then you will notice that the hiring manager may start to show that they're uncomfortable. They may say, well, it really just depends, and they'll try to give you responses. But ultimately, this is a superpower, because most candidates, when they are asked questions about their salary in terms of what salary they're looking for, most of the time they will just say a number, and then they are not really very interested in terms of adding silence to it, because they're nervous about talking about their salaries anyways, and it's already an uncomfortable situation. Therefore, if you can try to master and use silence strategically, you will stand out from everybody else, because as I mentioned, most people are not comfortable with silence. All right, let me say hello to Arlenis de los Santos. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Let me know what part of the Big Beautiful World you are joining from today, and if you've ever struggled with silence in the conversation. We are talking about how silence can equal a superpower. And the reason why, for those of you who just joined, welcome, welcome. Silence is a superpower because most people are uncomfortable with silence. Let me know in the comments below, if you're watching live or you're watching a replay, are you uncomfortable with silence? Or are you comfortable with silence? Thank you for the heart emojis. Are you comfortable with silence? You might not be comfortable with silence. And if you aren't, that's okay. Let's talk about strategies to help you become more comfortable. Now, as I mentioned, I have a live video that talked about silence earlier today that talks about a couple of things in terms of why people are more worried about silence and what you can actually say in those situations to buy yourself time. So this is very important. Just check it out. And thank you for the heart emojis and the 100s, friend. So we've talked about a couple things already. So we talked about, one, why people struggle with silence. It's awkward. People don't know what to do with that quiet, dead space there. And two, you want to use your silence strategically, either before you make an impactful statement or after you make an impactful statement. If you say it before you make an impactful statement, there are several scenarios when this would apply. One of the scenarios that I highlighted today was that if you are in a leadership setting, then if people are looking for your guidance, your expertise, then that is a perfect time for you to be silent for just a few seconds and then speak, because the audience is looking and waiting to see what does the leader have to say. And they're waiting in anticipation of what you have to say. Second is to pause after you make a big statement. So if you are in a salary negotiation, you're at a conference, you're at a meeting, and you say something that you want your audience to really process or really feel it, then this is a great time for you to pause after you make your statement, because it gives the audience time to process and think. So for instance, and let me see what, let's go down and chat just a moment. So we have Arlenas de los Santos says, hi, silence, thanks. You have a nice smile. Well, thank you, friend. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Now, let's say if you're in a board meeting or you're presenting to some stakeholders or you're doing something on behalf of your business, and let's say there's a result or something or direct benefit that you're sharing with someone that you really want them to think about, instead of saying, this is the benefit of this product or this is the benefit of this service, and now we're going to talk about some more benefits of it, pause. This is a superpower you need to develop, right? Superpower you need to develop. What you can do is say, the benefits of this product include this, 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 and this. How does that sound to you? There was a little bit of pause there. Why? Because oftentimes as leaders and even as communicators, we tend to just want to rush and just say what we have to say really quickly because we're so very nervous about it. And I want you to slow down. Slow down. Because when you slow down, people can start to actually process what you are saying. And you'll see it happening. I talked about this a little bit this morning during my live. When you decide you want to make your statement, your big statement, and you decide to be silent after that statement, then you'll start to see people thinking. They'll either squint their eyes, they may put their hand on their face, they may just sit back like they're thinking. These are all cues that people are listening to you, and this is why this is a leadership superpower that you want to master. Welcome to those of you who have joined today. I appreciate you being here. Let me know what part of Big Beautiful World you are joining from today. As I mentioned, this is a leadership superpower. You will want to develop this superpower. Everybody wants to have a superpower, right? You want to be able to do something that is very different than other people. And if you have clicked on this video and you like this information or this content so far, then I know you are that individual that wants to be at a higher level than your peers in terms of how you're communicating. This is a great opportunity for you to understand that silence is not something to be afraid of. Don't feel awkward about it. It does initially, but the more that you practice silence and adapting to it and becoming more comfortable with it, then you will start to develop your own leadership superpower, which will make you stand out from everybody else. Now, I hope this information has been very helpful to you. As I mentioned earlier, if you are a woman in leadership and maybe you're at a point where you know you need to communicate at a higher level. Perhaps you've been promoted, you're in a new role, maybe you're starting your business and you know that you're going to be speaking a lot, communicating a lot, and you want to get some insight in terms of what you can actually do to showcase yourself and really stand out from everybody else, then you want to elevate how you're communicating. And if you reach out to me, we'll have a strategy session. We'll talk about where you are and how we can potentially get you to that next level in terms of how you're communicating and get you to that next level in your career. Because I know if you clicked on this video, you're trying to make a big impact on the world. If you're not in my target audience in terms of who I provide executive coaching services to, that is okay. You're going to learn a ton of secrets and techniques and strategies here on this channel. So feel free to share it with your friends, your colleagues. We are growing. We're over 500 subscribers right now, and I'm really excited about that. And I'm just really thankful for all of you being here and being engaged and being present and asking questions during the lives. It always is very helpful to me because I'm really here to help you all. I want to help you. I know as I was developing myself in terms of the leader that I am today, that mentorship and the level of communication that I thought I needed was not what I needed. I needed to go higher in terms of how I communicate. And I know it's hard out there as leaders, whether you are a woman in leadership or a man in leadership. It's tough. It's tough. It's very, very difficult. And I wish I would have had a bit more support along the way, which is why I'm here to support all of you as you are elevating yourselves as leaders. I hope you all have an amazing day. And if you're new to me, I go live Tuesday through Friday. Right now I'm doing twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. And I talk about various topics as it relates to advanced communication skills, higher level, next level communication skills, so that you can communicate confidently and concisely under pressure. And being able to use strategic silence will help you develop your leadership superpower and help you to be the person that can communicate confidently under pressure. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the live later this week. Bye for now.